everybody. Welcome back to Your Full Crew. We are here at the Drone Responders National UAS Public Safety Conference, or NACON as they call it, in fabulous Williamsburg, Virginia. And we've got with us our gold sponsor for the event, Carasoft, and Carly Jones is here representing them. So Carly, first of all, welcome to the show. We've had a lot of your colleagues running through various events on our Dawn of Autonomy podcast, but this is the first time you've been with us.
Yeah, a little nervous.
No worries at all. So first of all, real quick, just tell them about what Carasoft is doing and why you're here.
Yeah, so my name's Carly Jones. I am the sales manager for all the state and local government contracts with the autonomy and robotics team at Carasoft. Carasoft is a government IT solutions provider. We're selling and marketing into the public sector. Last year we ended with 19 billion, which was crazy.
Yeah.
Biggest year yet. And we are on a bunch of government contracting vehicles like GSA and NASA SOUP to help with our public sector customers. Well,
and importantly on all the state, Omnia
and NASPO.
And NASPO contracts. And this is why you're here, right?
Yes.
At the Drone Responders Conference, because you guys actually have a very robust public safety line of effort.
Yes. We work with a lot of public safety customers. And yeah, we're really excited to be here. It's our first year here, learning all about, the drone responders and stuff like that.
So your first year here, what are your first impressions of the show?
I really enjoyed it. It's close to home at Busch Gardens. It's awesome. All of the drone demos outside are awesome. We have Skydio was out there and Blink was out there, and their drone in the box. All that stuff was awesome.
Yeah, very cool. So did you get to hear any of the educational talks at all?
No, we haven't gone to any of them yet, but we're excited. I know you talked about the stalking case, which was awesome and interesting.
Crazy. Yeah.
Looking forward to listening to more of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be doing some coverage for Autonomy Global on some of these panels, so check it out, everybody. If you haven't signed up for that, do that. But Carly, how can people learn more about Carasoft and how can they reach you?
Yeah, so you can reach out to our drone alias for Carasoft. It's drones@carasoft.com, and that will get you in touch with my team and myself.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank your sponsorship. All right, next we've got Glenn MacArthur. Now, Glenn is from Defense Solutions, and what's really interesting, I think, this year is we're seeing a ton of counter UAS companies on the floor, honestly. Is this your first year here?
This is my first year.
All right, amazing. So first of all, introduce yourself and tell them just a smidge about Defense Solutions.
Sure. Thanks for having me, first of all. My name is Glenn MacArthur. I am the U.S. Business Development Manager with Defense Solutions. I came to defend a year ago after a 25-year career in federal law enforcement. My last couple of years I spent with the U.S. Border Patrol's counter-UAS team as the lead of intelligence and operations.
Wow.
So it's great to be back here with fellow law enforcement officers and first responders. So yeah, it's great. Defense Solutions, our Enforce Air product, is the leading RF cyber counter-drone technology out there. So happy to be a part of this.
You mentioned all your law enforcement brothers and sisters here, Glenn. I think sold out second year in a row. I feel like this place is bursting at the seams. Over 600 people here, tons of vendors. I know it's your first show here. What are your impressions?
Yeah, I'm super excited to be here. I think this is a great opportunity to engage with state and local law enforcement, first responders. There's a real appetite for those folks to learn and engage about the advanced counter-UAS activities that are out there. So we're happy to engage and help educate and demonstrate and showcase what our system can do.
I love that. So is there anything as you've walked around the floor that jumps out at you as being like, wow, I've never seen that one before, or that's something new?
Yeah, from the counter side, I'm really excited to see what the DFR community is doing with drones of first responder.
Yeah.
That's another avenue that's very new in the law enforcement community and something that I didn't deal with very much as a U.S. Border Patrol agent. So it's great to see that all of these things are entering the airspace, and that's something else that we can help with at Defend is help add some situational awareness to that airspace and help with air traffic management.
Well, when you think about not only just air traffic management, but beyond visual line of sight, that airspace has to be clear, right?
Yeah.
There's no pilot on board to see if there's something in the way, and so whether they're clueless, careless, criminal, we got to be making sure that there's no head-on collisions with drones, because one big incident can set everything back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And providing first responders and law enforcement with more situational awareness is a great thing.
Absolutely. So how can people learn more about Defend and get in touch with you?
You can find us on the web at defendsolutions.com. That's D-FEND solutions.com, and reach out to us and schedule a demo.
All right, very good. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate you. All right, we've got Dr. Chris Zarzar next coming up, talking about, when you think about airspace awareness and you think about those long-range missions, especially beyond visual line of sight, weather is always a factor. Here he is. So we've had Chris on the show. He's been on our Dawn of Autonomy before, and great to have you back.
Great to be back.
Yeah. So True Weather, most people know Don Bershoff, right? Because he's like proselytizing weather everywhere, your CEO. But tell us just, again, like the 30-second elevator speech, what True Weather is all about.
Yeah, True Weather, we're the micro weather company for drones and eVTOLs. The goal is to piggyback on what you actually just said. The goal is to piggyback off of what you said about how there's no longer a pilot on board the aircraft, so there's no pilot to feel the weather. And so we're trying to fill in those gaps with weather data to understand what's happening, where the drone is operating, so that they can operate safely and more efficiently.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys have been a big supporter of this event. You've been here multiple years.
Yep.
What has changed over the years, in your opinion?
Yeah, this is my second year here personally, and I think what's changed is the momentum of where the industry is going when it comes to drone as first responder. And so even last year, it was a lot of people talking about starting up their programs and thinking about where can they take it with some people operating. Now it's really scaling up. We're seeing BVLOS operations being approved for drone as first responder, and that's going to be a big deal.
Yeah, and what's really exciting too, Chris, I think FAA took the stage. Three big new things.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be writing an article about that, so I'm not going to do too much of a spoiler here.
Okay.
But everybody's leaning into this use case because it's so critically important. It's life-saving.
Yep.
And that matters, right? So pretty amazing. So, all right, so what's kind of next for you? What's next for True Weather?
What's next is we've got some really cool deployments that you should check out. You may have heard of the FAA Key Site. So down in NASA, we've got a funded test bed going out there with a bunch of weather sensors. Same up in Hollister, California. Keep track of us because we're doing some really cool stuff that will support everything from package deliveries to these drone as first responder programs, getting critical life-saving materials out.
That's amazing. All right, how can they learn more about True Weather and find you?
True Weather without the E, trueweathersolutions.com. You can find me on LinkedIn or my email, chriszarzar@trueweathersolutions.com.
All right, very good. Well, thank you so much, Chris. Appreciate you. All right, we're going to grab DJ Smith now. Charles Werner, Chief Werner is MIA, probably because he's running this event and running around like a chicken without a head. So DJ, I'm going to have you grab this little mic and lean in a little bit, look over that way. And okay, first of all, if you guys don't know him, you haven't been in the community too long. This is DJ Smith. He is such an advocate for public safety, for also counter drone, and for the entire industry. DJ, tell them a little bit about your background, and definitely tell them about this stalker panel that you were just involved in. It was amazing.
First of all, I didn't stalk anybody.
No, you didn't stalk anybody.
Just to get up.
Yeah.
I'm DJ Smith. I'm a senior technical surveillance agent for the State Police here in Virginia. One of the jobs I do is I also run our drone program and our counter drone program. Very important tools that we've actually kind of just started kind of kicking up to. So also I'm the Deputy Director for Drone Responders for all counter UAS activities. Drone Responders in this event here, man, I tell you, has been a huge thing. So the connection came through Charles on a stalking event that happened in Rockingham County, Virginia, of a young lady being stalked by a drone flight, hurt her children, and we actually deployed some of our D-drone detection systems down there. We were able to actually track the drone. Once they did the search warrant and actually seized the drone during the search warrant, I was able to actually do the CFID telemetry download and actually dump the drone and match all the data that was in that drone to the actual flight records in the D drone, which basically kind of shored up the whole case because it matched the flights that happened that were the incursions around our house to the drone. So it actually sealed the fate of that.
It's honestly, as a former prosecutor, I was sitting there listening to this panel. It was so compelling. First of all, that victim to come forward, to be her own advocate, to get, by the way, use remote ID, to grab that serial number initially, to no kidding start the case, to advocate
Absolutely.
for herself. And then, something I never really thought about, although it's so obvious, we always talk about counter-drone technology, and I think most people equate that with like mitigation, like taking that drone down, or in the case of Defend, right, the cyber
Right.
solution, landing it somewhere safely. But what was important about the D-drone, counter-drone technology here, was the evidentiary value
Absolutely.
of the data collected that led to a conviction in October of last year. That is huge. 4 years in the making, by the way, everybody.
Absolutely.
I mean, I get chills when I think about this. So this isn't just, we need counter drone to know what's flying out there. We need counter drone to, no kidding, bring these people to justice.
Absolutely.
In the right cases.
Well, and it's not it's critical for public safety, but also for critical infrastructure as well.
Yeah.
One of the points we try to make all the time with our congressional leaders is, Newport News Shipbuilding has a yard here that's owned by Huntington Ingalls. They build naval ships, aircraft carriers, submarines, and there's no flight restriction not to fly over the base. But what we want to be able to have the ability to do is to know when something's aloft overhead. So if we know it's there, we can put a body on a controller. We can get out to see, why are you here? What's the intent? Are you flying legally? If you're not flying legally, either educate or take that next step.
Yes.
But for public safety, the one thing we never ever want to tell anybody we serve in our public is, look, I can't help you. There's nothing I can do to figure this out for you. So we need to fix those loopholes. Luckily, in this case, we were able to deploy technology that was able to detect DJI drones. It detected that drone, tracked that drone through the airspace, logged all the internal data of that drone, and we were able to take action. Where we're actually falling short in the congressional legislative carve-outs is we need to be able to do it to all drones.
100%.
So decoding is that key that we're looking for the legislative carve-out from Congress. Senate Bill 1631, there was a House resolution bill, there was another bill passed by one of the delegates out of New Jersey this past December. All legislation that will help put us on the pathway to actually securing our airspace, but really more importantly, our communities, our states, but more importantly, the homeland overall.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for everything you do.
Thank you.
Tell them a little bit about drone responders and how people can just join for free.
Absolutely. So Drone Responders is an amazing organization that kind of ties together all things unmanned aerial and unmanned systems. So if you're trying to start a program, there's no better place to start. There's plenty of documents online to look up. What does my manual need to look like? What do our general orders need to look like? But also it makes you part of a family of people all the way around the world. So I think we're in 83 countries now.
Wow.
So we have different countries out there that are having drone programs, but it also ties together that lessons learned. So I'm a very big lessons learned person. One of the things that benefited for me was what works, what doesn't work. And that's the key to really when you want to do it. So I don't have to tread water that somebody else did. Chris Sadler was a great example when I started my program with the state police. Chris said, look, this is what worked for me, this is what didn't work for me.
Yeah.
Austin, Texas,
Jason Day out there.
Jason Day, that
he's
way.
doing amazing
Just
stuff.
awesome people that were able to actually provide me a little bit of a pathway to build my program out.
Yeah.
But Drone Responders offers that. It's a great community. It's really like a big family, to be honest with you, because we all help each other. And
It's like a homecoming when you come back here.
Absolutely. And there's not a person here I haven't met or will meet that I couldn't call and drop of a hat and ask a question.
That's right. All right, man. Well, thank you so much for everything you do, DJ.
Thank you so
I really
much.
appreciate you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Next, we've got Ned. Ned Talbot is with Meadowlark Aircraft Company out of North Dakota. Came all the way here to Virginia
For spring break.
On spring break. Here you go. I'm going to hand you this. All right. So first of all, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Ned Talbot, Chief Technology Officer of Meadowlark Aircraft Company, Grand Forks, North Dakota. We're a manufacturer of small Group 3, so about 125 to 300 pound aircraft, vertical takeoff and land, hybrid propulsion. However, we're here to see if there's a use case for us to also get in Group 2, heavy Group 2, or even lighter Group 3 platforms for sustained surveillance, basically.
You know, it was really interesting, Ned. I was sitting here at lunch and talking to a gentleman like, hey, why can't we have big drones like in a search, because they talked about heavy lift drones, for search and rescue. There was a talk on that.
Right, I did see the talk, yeah.
And somebody said, why can't we have a drone big enough to actually lift that person out? You know, like the human, like you found them, don't just drop them a blanket. You know, are we going to get there? And I think we will eventually get there. And maybe you'll be part of that solution, but I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Well, unfortunately in Ukraine, if there's only one injured soldier, they're not going to send a search and rescue for that one.
Well,
so there's
true.
a lot of use cases right now for a drone that can lift 200 pounds and go get that soldier who might be conscious. Well, he is conscious, can strap himself in, but it would be bringing more victims to the scene if you sent a convoy to go get him. So that is a very important use case, not beyond just public safety, for essentially for military applications.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we are in the process of designing a heavier aircraft that could potentially serve as air ambulance.
Oh, that would be amazing. Well, I can't wait to see that. I know
that's a couple of years out.
That's a couple of years out. You're just
let's-
building out the company right now.
That's right.
You got some big reveals coming up, I think, at Exponential. We're not going to we'll tease that.
Okay,
We won't
yeah.
let the cat out of the bag.
That's right. But it's important for this sector because there's a lot of issues with collision avoidance, particularly with obstacle collisions. And if you're flying low, doing these kinds of surveillance, that's which you haven't mapped out a route, you're doing in high pursuit, going 100 miles an hour in pursuit, and you don't want to run into things. So we're going to develop a roadmap for the technology, for the sensors and software capabilities that you need for mid-sized aircraft to be able to power that out. So come see us at AUVSI in Houston and participate in that workshop.
Now, I think you guys are going to have a booth and also be out in force. Otherwise, I know you're doing your own workshop, somewhat competing with my Law Tech Connect. That's
Well,
okay. I still love you anyway.
I don't schedule things.
But check it out. If detect and avoid is your lane, this is the guy you want to be talking to at Exponential and checking out their booth. So in the meantime, how can people find you and reach you, Ned?
Meadowlarkaircraft.com is probably the best way. There's a contact page there, and you can just reach out that way. I'd appreciate that. And I appreciate you, Dawn, for inviting me and giving me this opportunity.
Of course. And by the way, Ned was on the Dawn of Autonomy back in January. If you missed that, go back and check it out. He talked all about where the vision for his company and where you guys are going in 2025 and beyond.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Love you.
All right, great to see you.
Take care.
All right, we got Jeremy Willingham from Mark 43 up next. Speaking of Mark 43, they are the month sponsor for this very month on the Dawn of Autonomy, which is dedicated to the theme of public safety and defense. Who better than Colonel United States Army retired Jeremy Willingham to be with us from Mark 43. Jeremy, this is your second year here.
Yep.
All right. So first of all, tell them a little bit about Mark 43 and what you guys are doing that is so important in this public safety space.
Yeah, so Mark 43 is a public safety software company. We do computer-aided dispatch, records management, jail management, crime analytics, case management, investigative case management, and quite a few other applications for public safety.
All right, very good, very good. And we just had Ganesha and Banning Swetlin on the show talking about some of these use cases that you guys are doing. But you've been walking the floor, you've been listening to the education, I know, because I've been running into you everywhere. So what would you say is trending this year at this show?
Yeah, I think obviously what you mentioned with DJ, that was very eye-opening.
The stalking case.
The stalking case.
Yeah, some real world, really
stuff.
poignant use cases that maybe are, I don't want to say fringe, but maybe people aren't really talking about them much, but they're super important. Yeah.
One of the other things I heard was actually from one of our customers, Elk Grove PD out of California. They briefed earlier this morning, and what they were talking about was how seamless their connection is to our CAD into the drone tracking equipment that they're particularly using. So it was good. It was good to hear from one of our customers here at this meeting as well.
So we've talked about integrating drone data into your system, but now also counter drone data as well.
Yep.
Okay.
So the good thing about Mark 43, and I know all other vendors would like to be that same way, but we are very good at the plug and play. We have that open API. We're able to talk very easily to other equipment, other services out there, And that's what Elk Grove. I talked to him afterwards, and he said, "Man, I love Mark 43 because it's easy to use, and we can easily connect to our our drone tracking equipment." So that's the big deal that we heard today.
That's awesome. Well, what are you most looking forward to from this show?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I'm here for is looking at some of our potential partners, some of the drone tracking companies, the drone companies, and how we can best partner with them in the future. For me on the federal side, and then of course those same companies on the state and local side too.
Yeah. Well,
that's mainly why I'm here.
Well, it's a good reason to be here, and it's probably a great segue to our next speaker, David Cameron from Matrix Space, who, by the way, you probably need to talk to after this show about partnering with, but they're doing amazing things too. So in the meantime, Jeremy, how can people reach you and find out more about Mark 43?
Yeah, so mark43.com, you can get to our website, and then of course you can find me or Patty Trexler's our VP for Federal on LinkedIn as well. We're all pretty much on LinkedIn. And you can get us through our website as well.
And through the Caresoft website, because they are Caresoft partners, by the way, and Caresoft scholars at the Law Tech Connect event, so you can meet them in person as well if you're going to be at Exponential. So thanks so much, Jeremy. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Don.
All right, great. David is up next. Here he comes. So Matrix Space is an advanced radar company using and leveraging AI in your solutions. So I don't want to steal your thunder, David. First of all, tell them a little bit about yourself and then about Matrix Space.
Sure. I'm David Cameron. I'm retired law enforcement. I'm a field engineer with Matrix Space now. We've developed a small form factor radar, which is one of the main use cases is for airspace detection to enable beyond visual line of sight operations for first responders.
Absolutely. So you guys have a booth here, you're getting some traction?
Yeah, we're getting a lot of interest. DFR 2.0 is a big push, I think, at this show this year. It's one of the things that I'm excited to see. Coming from an agency who currently has a DFR 2.0 program and being able to help develop that program over the last several years, I'm just excited to be able to help other departments get into that. And some departments don't even have their program started yet, and I'm excited talking to them and just even helping them get the basic program started that they can now then use as a stepping stone to DFR 2.0.
So DFR 2.0, you're throwing this around for those that don't know what 2.0 is. Now DFR is Drone as First Responder. I think most people, I hope, know that are watching this, but what is 2.0?
So 2.0 is using technology to remove the visual observer from the roof, creating a true one-person operation with a teleoperator and a drone. And we use radar, optical, or in some cases acoustic, though I haven't really seen any acoustic systems up and running, to replace that human on the roof and make it a true one-person operation, allowing departments to really utilize their personnel.
Yeah, so for that, we're seeing a lot more drone in the box or DIB solutions here, right? And interesting training solutions. I saw Flying Lion just unleashed their Flytown. If you haven't heard about it, you will. So what else? You've been here before, you're walking around. What's like the most exciting thing that you've observed?
I think I may have spoken to it already. I think the most exciting thing is the interest in going to this no VO system, because police departments around the nation are like they're shorthanded.
Yeah, they can't afford to have a person standing on a roof watching a drone.
Exactly, and to Flying Lion's credit, with all they've done in the industry, it can get expensive doing contracts to having people standing in the roof. And getting back down to this one-person operation. So they're even shifting the way that they're doing and getting into equipment and helping other agencies get programs started. And with their Flytown, which Matrix Space will be part of, people can come out and see our once we get everything up and running, then come out and see our radar in operation out at Flytown.
It's so funny. Kerry Fleming from the FAA. So most of you may not know this guy. He actually writes horror movies and has produced and starred in horror movies. And we were looking at Flytown. He's like, "Oh, this is the perfect zombie location. It's like in the middle of nowhere in California. It's an old mining area, but huge. and just perfect for what they're trying to achieve. So really, really cool.
We were having a few discussions last night over some
Beverages, perhaps, hypothetically.
regarding some of his horror movie.
All right, very good, very good. So, Matrix Space, what's next for you? Where can people find you?
Well, you can find us at matrixspace.com. I'm also on LinkedIn. And for those agencies who do want a little extra push or just some advice, find me on LinkedIn or through matrixspace.com. I'd be happy to talk to you and guide you through just even the standard FRB VLOS waiver or how to get your program started. And it's just a cop-to-cop help.
And by the way, there's a lot of good swag here. I'm like somewhat of a swag connoisseur. And they have the little fuzzy dog radar.
We do have
Okay,
radar.
so can you bring one over to me so I can show them on the show while I'm talking to Jeffrey?
I will come over
All
and
right.
I'll put one on the table for you.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate you. All right,
All right.
man. Great to see you. Thank you
Nice
so
seeing
much
you
for
too.
everything you
All
do.
right.
All right. Next, we have Jeffrey Daly from CNA. This is the Center for Naval Analysis. And if you've never heard of them, they're one of these things called the FFRDC. Is that correct?
Federally Funded Research and Development Corporation.
That's exactly right. So CNA, Center for Naval Analysis, but you're doing way more than just Navy research.
Yeah.
Tell everybody a little bit about what this organization is.
Yeah, sure. So we started out as the Center for Naval Analyses. We've expanded into civilian sectors. So a lot of our work focuses on the research that's necessary in a lot of the cases, federal agencies, but also state, local, tribal agencies that are trying to identify how to incorporate this emerging technology, particularly UAS, AI, and cybersecurity risks, and identify what the challenges and what the opportunities are for their agencies.
Absolutely. And I actually met you, maybe at least your team, last year here. You
Yes.
guys had a booth, and we reconnected recently. And you guys are really, I mean, you've got this deep heritage in security matters. So tell me now, like, as you walk around this floor, like, what are your goals in achieving at this show?
So my goals really are just identifying what are the biggest challenges and what are the biggest opportunities that the people who are actually working in this space are identifying for themselves. So one of the things that we want to be able to do is when we go back to, for instance, a federal sponsor like the FAA, NIST, FEMA, or anybody like that, is
Right.
we want to be able to actually represent the people who are doing this job, pretty accurately. So that when they need to identify, what sort of research do we need to fund, what sort of direction do we need to take this research, what are the most important goals, we need to be able to give them clear answers that are actually meaningful to the people who are going to be using it.
Yeah. So maybe you're going to write a paper that's going to come out. I don't want to let any, kind of cats out of the bag. But what are some of the things that people are expressing as some of their biggest concerns in this public safety space right now?
Well, I think
just let's do this. Give me your top three.
So let's see. Top concerns in public safety. I think the one that always stands out to me is how do we communicate across different agencies?
Okay.
And share that information. I think that there's been great strides in that recently.
Yeah.
How do we make sure that people are trained and how do we identify who those trained people are?
Okay.
And let's see. Number three, funding. It's always going to be funding.
It's always funding, isn't it? Absolutely, 100%. So what's next for you guys? As you guys are looking at 2025 and the things you'll be focusing on.
So for 2025, I think one of the things that we really want to focus on is making sure that we've got the right partners that are going to be able to give us the subject matter expertise, and we want to be able to we're actually supporting Assured Safe, which is releasing has already released and is enhancing their training platform for first responders using UAS in their line of duty.
Oh, very cool, very cool. All right, is there anything that you heard here for the first time that was new to you?
New to me. I think everything had a sort of aspect of newness to it, just being able to hear it directly from the people who do it. I think one of the things that really stood out to me is, again, the sort of breadth of people and the breadth of the kind of work that they do.
Yeah, I think that's true. This isn't just hey, we're using drones as first responder, which became very, very popular, and that's awesome. but we're no kidding using drones to counter drone technology to solve crimes.
That
and
I think,
prosecute people.
That was a real exciting one that came out today.
That's a big one, like for me. So yeah, lots of really cool use cases here, whether it's traffic reconstruction or search and rescue, tethered drones and what that's bringing to the fight.
Yeah,
all kinds of things.
Fantastic.
So yeah, absolutely. So how can people learn more about CNA and contact you?
Well, visit cna.org. That's going to be a great place to get an introduction to us. You can contact me. You can find me, I'm sure, on LinkedIn or at dailyj@cna.org.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Great to have you. Appreciate
Thank you.
All right, and last but not least, bringing up the rear, bringing up our caboose here, is my buddy Ron Leach from Leach Strategic Partners, also from the Urban Low Altitude Transport Association.
You got
It's been a while, honestly. Ultra. All right, so this is Ron. Ron is from Jersey. Tell them a little bit about yourself, Ron.
Let's see. My company's Leach Strategic Partners, if I can talk. I'm a little parched today. What I do is I do public safety consulting for organizations that want to start a drone program. So I come at it from 30 years of aviation experience, 23 years of law enforcement, so that kind of works real well. Drones, they live in the lower altitudes. So as a helicopter pilot, the rules and regulations are easy to understand, and then try to tell, what the good idea and what the bad ideas are, and stop people from making mistakes once they start flying drones.
Absolutely. By the way, I have to cut in for a second. Meet Radar, everybody. Is he the cutest? And he's so fuzzy. So this is the little Matrix Base swag we were talking about. So I love this guy. Anyway, I'm a swag hound, so we had to stop that.
I should have brought some with me.
I know. I'm just telling you, I squirrel. But all right, Ron, you're from Jersey, and when Fox News called me, I called you. I called Ray Adams, former air traffic control, because people are like, "What is happening in New Jersey with these drones?" In one sentence, can you dispel the myths? Maybe.
I don't think so.
You can't do it. It's complicated.
I think if you look at social media, I think there was a lot of social contagion that way. Everything's a drone or nothing is.
Yeah, true.
Clearly, some of the aircraft that they were being spotted were in flight paths that I'm familiar with, going in and out of some of the major airports. I've heard reports where you've had professional people looking at a planet and thought that might have been a drone when it appeared 2 nights in a row or whatever the case may be.
Right.
Starlink, I heard, if you ever see Starlink, they're pretty cool. Looks like a train of stars following each other.
Oh, wow.
I heard Starlink was misidentified as one of these nefarious, but we don't know if they are drones. They won't hurt you.
Yeah,
some real questions. I think, and not to be negative about it, I think the messaging was really poor. If you don't know, I think it's okay to say, we don't know, we're investigating, and kind of leave it go at that. But if you answer or put out information, it's going to cause the public to question you more.
Yeah, everybody wants to speculate. I was there when the Philly, plane fireballed out of the sky, and it was like, oh, icing on the wings. I'm like, what? I mean, I don't know much, but I'm pretty sure that had nothing to do with anything. But anyway, it's the hype. But so you're involved in drone responders. You've been here before. What would you say is really trending this year in terms of either the content or what you're seeing across the floor here?
A lot of AI-based products here.
AI.
It's really impressive how it's really taking over. Where are we going to be in 4 years from now?
Yeah.
What's the automation going to look like for processing, data collection? It's really impressive how it's being integrated in many different levels here.
Well, it's a great point. You're not seeing AI companies here necessarily. I think there's one. But these products like Matrix Space Radar, as an example, right? Yep. It's got AI integrated into it. So you're seeing more and more of that.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
That's it. Yep.
All right, awesome. What are you most looking forward to at this show? Other than seeing me hanging out.
Networking is really big for these things. It's great. The information exchange, seeing people face to face, it really brings the industry together, and the exchange of ideas. You have conversations that you wouldn't have if you didn't have the connection, the face-to-face connection with people.
Absolutely. You guys have a lot of stuff going on in New Jersey. Yep. Tell them what's coming up there that you're excited about, and then let's close out with telling them how they can find more about what you're doing, Ron, or reach you.
So my partner Ray Adams, you mentioned him earlier, he's a retired air traffic controller. We funded Ultra as a nonprofit to advance the industry. So, new topic, new idea, new concept. How do you integrate into the national airspace system? That's where we kind of fit in. We affiliated with the University of Alaska. The unmanned, they have an unmanned aviation center of excellence.
Yeah, a quasi.
Correct.
Yeah.
So they're coming to Jersey. They're going to pack up their trailer and drive from Fairbanks all the way down to Cape May, New Jersey.
Whoa.
And do some drone detection testing at the Cape May Lewis Ferry Terminal.
Oh, that's amazing. When's this going to happen?
This is going to happen April 14th to the 25th. And we're looking forward to putting New Jersey on the map for some of this research and technology.
All right. Well, you heard it here first, everybody. And how can they learn more about that or, again, follow you?
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn, Ron Leach, and my company, Leach Strategic Partners, www.leachsp.com, and reach out.
All right, very good. Well, thank you so much, Ron. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you. Always good seeing you.
All right, of course, of course. All right, everybody, that is all she wrote for this particular show. We are out here. It's a really great one here at Drone Responders, and me and Radar, we're saying goodbye. Goodbye.